Next up, we have Holy War by Boom Kitty, featured in Geometry Dash is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, members get early access to the content. Artists, I want to collaborate with everybody. I have a whole spiel for this at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Okay, so we start with a hit from the drums, then we bring the bass, giving us what sounds to be our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. And I already love it. Like, it's very rare that you have a motif being played on the bass. Usually you're gonna have it in like a more melodic instrument, but yeah. I'm really considering putting something on the offline queue. Put 3 months trying to win something is getting to me. I mean, it's a small chance, because for most of the people who wonder how we pick songs, I don't pick the songs. I let the great sentient wheel of destiny pick them for me. We usually pick them live from the queue, and usually we get around 50 requests at a time because the bot can only handle 50 at a time. That's a 2% chance. That's a very low chance, and we only do so many a day. So I fully understand the frustration. But yeah, it's the wheel. It's the wheel. Like, I don't... And the offline queue is even longer when it comes to the wait. Because, yeah, I don't... I can't... I'm not doing this full-time yet. I'm hoping that February I can get the full-time experiment done. I still need to secure this at work. But, yeah, even then, it's not going to be too much else, because, you know, these take time, and I'm not gonna do 12-hour LFA streams, right? I love doing this, but there's still a level of mental exhaustion it can have from it. We'll see, right? We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, let's continue. Let's see where it goes. Okay, so no, what we had here at the start was a bass line / riff. So the difference between a motif and a riff is that a riff is going to be a motif that is then put through an ostinato. Ostinato means that you're repeating it over and over again, and then you play it on a guitar or a bass or whatever contemporary, current-day band instruments you might have. And now we have this, like, the traditional Egyptian flute kind of thing that we're having. I don't know these names. Like, this is world music instruments. That, by the way, the official term for non-Western instruments is world music instruments. That's the official term that we use. So anything that is exotic is just called world music. So, I don't know why, but that's just what it's called. So let's see where this goes. Okay, so we bring, of course, the drums, giving us that initial beat. And now we have a string sample giving us some accents. Accents, of course, in music is for accentuation. Accents are when you highlight a specific point in the rhythm outside of the established like beat that you're having, right? In this case, we are having the strings engaging what is called staccato. Staccato is this short, stinging notes, very, 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 very short. The opposite of staccato, of course, being legato. Legato is what the flute was playing, staccato is what these strings are playing, and they're basically just playing the chords that the bass line is highlighting. Let's see where this goes. We are now, and we do something that we very rarely get to talk about in this channel. We do a chord inversion. So inversion, usually when we talk about inversion in this channel, it's in the context of melody. Inversion in melody is when you play a melody upside down. However, there is such a thing as doing inversion in a chord. A chord, of course, being the vertical slice of your notes. And your chord is usually going to be, the most common type of chord is a triad. Triad is 3 notes, right? If we take, for example, the key of C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, then back to C, your chord, usually you're just going to skip notes, right? So C, skip D, E, skip F, G. That gives you your C major triad. Very, very nice and simple. So the way it works is that then we have, okay, C, E, and G. That is your C major triad. And this, the way it works, is that depending on where the bass is, or the order of the notes in which octave they happen, is going to be the position that they're in. So we talk about inversion in terms of position. So if you play C, E, and G with C in the bass, then E and G, this is what is called root position. So we have root position. Then, of course, there are ways that you can get around this. Like, for example, if you just keep C in the bass, you can go ahead and do other variations. As long as the lowest note is C, then you have E, G, and C. You can continue going octaves, right? The main aspect here is that C is in the bass. That C is in the bass. That is... for classical music, is that C is in the bass. For jazz, is that it's in the position that it is. So what do we do when we invert a chord? We take one of the notes and we move it an octave. Of course, octaves being the range that we have. So C, there's C down here, there's C up here, there's C up here. They're all the same note in different octaves. So if we were to move C up here from C, E, G to now being E, G, and then C, we arrive in what is called the first inversion. The first inversion is going to then be, instead of C, E, and G, you're going to have E, G, and C. And of course, in classical music, the variation is going to be that the E has to be in the bass. So you can do still the same. That kind of thing. And then, of course, when you do it again, you take E, you put it up an octave, you arrive in what is called the second inversion. And it's same thing. Now we're doing G, C, and E, or in classical music, in which case you just have G in the bass. So as long as G is in the bass. Of course, once you start talking extended chords, like for example, if we were to add a 7th over here, so we add B to this because that's an extended chord, then you can have third inversion in which B is in the bass, right? So, or it would be the top note, or it would be the lowest note. That kind of thing. So, yes, we are now having these accents being done in inverted chords. We just turned up the octave over here. Let's see where it goes. Oh. And off the ramp we went. Off the ramp, of course, being a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial, by that I mean there's no official academic definition for this, or at least I'm choosing not to use it for the sake of simplicity. And off the ramp is a specific type of transition. It can be as short as a couple of beats, as it was here. It can be as long as an entire section. And the point of it is to make your listener feel suspended up in the air at the mercy of inertia, waiting to see where you land. How do you do that? Remove the drums, maybe the bass as well, which is what has happened over here. We're bringing now a variation of the riff. Let's see where it goes. With still accents on that percussion. Oh, we're going straight for a buildup. Oh, really cool moment of the ramp over there using what, a Z-Tot? I don't know what it's called. And we drop the beat. Let me go back a couple of seconds. Like here it is. And so over here, what we did with this is called rhythmic displacement. rhythmic displacement. We have displaced the rhythm by adding this extra melody right before we drop the beat. It's very common in the electronic music to add something like this or some sort of like audio sample, something like that. So let's see where this goes. So now we bring in the melody, we bring this version of the melody, and I think this is from the riff. We bring the riff melody full force with now the new drums going. This is really, really good. Let's see where this goes. Oh, nice. We switch the instruments around and we engage in octave displacement. So, octave displacement is similar to chord inversions, where you take something from a melody and you displace which octave it happens in. So if we were to bring, let's say, this key of C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, let's do a couple of octaves. Let me extend this a little bit. So D, E, F, G, A, and B, and then C. Octave displacement is when you have some sort of melody and you repeat the notes. So let's do a very simple one, right? So C, D, and E. We do a very, very simple, straightforward C major motif. Octave displacement is when you change which octave the notes happen in. You just keep the order of the notes the same. So C, D, E. You could also do up here, C, D, and E, which would be what? You could do any combination of these. Like you could do C, D, and then E. So you can do whatever combination you want of these. If you want to listen to a insanely good track that has octave displacement like as clear as it gets, listen to Goat by Polyphia. Goat by Polyphia, clear example of octave displacement. The melody starts, the initial melody, you can hear it, and then when the guitars start playing, they start playing in octave displacement with a bunch of extra flair. So we're having something like that happening over here, where the notes are just being displaced in the octaves. We're still technically playing the same notes, we're just changing which octave they're happening in. Let's see where it goes. So yeah, we're on a lower octave right now, and then up the ramp we go again. New version of the melody with, I'm gonna call it a Z-tar to keep it simple. And it sequences. Sequencing, of course, being another way that you can develop your material. Sequencing is when you when you repeat a melodic shape just from a different starting point, right? So let's say we have the C major. We sequence it, we can just play the same shape, just from a different starting point. So. And of course, there's many ways that you can sequence. There's two main ways that you can sequence. You can do diatonic, or I think the other one is called chromatic. So diatonic is, I think it's chromatic. Diatonic means that you are still playing the same shape, just respecting the scale that you're in. And chromatic is when you take the same exact shape and you just transpose it to whatever parallel version of it might be. So this is diatonic, right? Because here's the key of C major. So that means any of these notes are not in C major. So if we were to do diatonic sequencing, very nice, simple, it sounds like it belongs to C major, but if we then do, I think it's chromatic. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's chromatic sequencing. I think it's chromatic. If when you play it outside, then it's, because we're doing the same exact shape, not counting the scale that we're in. So yeah, we're having that. Of course, that's not what's happening over here. We're doing regular sequencing, diatonic sequencing. Let's see where this goes. Very cool melody. Okay, we introduced the melody and so we engage in this melody with a call and response. Call and response, being a musical conversation. We're having an unintended conversation between the bass and the zither over here. This one, I'm just going to call it the zither to keep it simple, right? So we're having this going. You can hear it. The call by the zither responds by the bass. When the zither stops, the bass plays. When the bass stops, the zither plays. Call and response back and forth. And yeah, let's see where it goes. Oh, and we have an inversion in the melody. Inversion in melodies, of course, being when you play something upside down. Here is, the normal inversion. Basically playing things upside down. Let's see where this goes. We're doing another drop, and... Okay, so we bring in this other version of the melody, and we are engaging in slides right now. So a slide is something that you can't really achieve on regular keyboards unless you engage in pitch bending. And the slide is when you just take one note and slide from one note to another. So let's say, this is not going to sound as smooth because of the keyboard, but if I want to go from C to E and I slide, there you go, that's kind of thing. However, the way that we're doing this is that we are not using the individual tones, but instead we are sliding and gathering the entire spectrum of notes between the notes, and we're just going back and forth. This is, of course, very common for microtonal instruments because you don't have the frets or the separations, because, even in the smallest note that we have over here, right, the half step in music, there are still frequencies between those two notes. We're just using these two in Western music because that's how we decided to divide them. However, there's a bunch of more microtones for microtonal music, and the way you can make it happen is by either pitch bending, or you use something that is called a fretless instrument. Violins, violas, cellos, they don't have frets, so you can do that. Fretless basses, fretless guitars, that kind of thing. And basically, we're just giving a starting point and ending point to the note. So we're going from this note to this note, and we're just playing every single note in between, regardless of the tunings that we use. We're just playing every single frequency, or every single microtone in between with this. We're engaging in slides, going up and down, and part of it is also being sidechained. Sidechaining being when you interrupt whatever is being sidechained with your drums. Usually the sound is that you turn down the volume and then back up. So we are getting that sense, it gives you that sense of pulsating. So let's see where this goes. Oh, nice. And I like that it has two. I like how the motif here has two halves. It's a very good way of carrying your music, right? So you have the first half, you bring something, the second half, something contrasting to give you that resolution or that cadence. Really good. Let's see where it goes. Oh, we have those accents. Those accents up above, the chants. Inversion in the... So we're also having what seems to be the strings that we had before, the ones that were giving us accents before, now doing a doubling. Doubling is when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing at the same time, which is what is happening over here. Let's see where this goes. Off the ramp. Variation of the original riff. Variation of the motif. We switch from the zither to a singer. Nice. Oh. Ooh, false drop. We're going straight for another build-up. Slowly building it. We have those accents playing in the strings. We're slowly bringing forward more of the bass, more of the motif. Rhythmic displacement. And... no, we're just pulling off the ramp. And a second false drop. Second time, risky move, but we go from one build-up, we tease the drop, and we go immediately into another build-up. Very risky move, but it is building more tension. Let's see where it goes. The rhythmic displacement, and... there we go. similar to what we were doing before, except this time without the slides. We're bringing the melody back in, and now the melody is being doubled by the bass. So we have like the highest sounding instrument playing it and the lowest sounding instrument playing it, giving you this sense of like the whole range happening. This is very good for the climax, which right now, you know, usually the last 1 to 2 minutes of your piece should be the climax. And this is where you want to make it sound as powerful as possible. So let's see where it goes. Octave displacement there, and another drop. Nice. So yeah, now we're full climax. Everything is up. Guns up, and we're bringing out the big guns. Even here, we're building 2 more, and there we go. We bring back the slides. We bring back the sliding melody, but this time we bring it down an octave. So we go from the high climax to the low climax, because it still carries just as much energy, which is tricky to do. It's tricky to do, to carry that much energy high up as it is down low. So really, really good job there, carrying that energy. Let's see where it goes. Let's see. Alright, we repeat again. How are you gonna end this? Variations on the sliding melody, and alright, variation again, and we let it run one more time, a few more times, we let it echo out, and there you go. That was a trip. That was a lot of fun. But there you go. It loops a couple of times. It doesn't drag that much. I think it does. It gets to the point where it starts feeling like it's gonna drag, and then it ends. So, interesting way of ending it. Definitely the weakest part of this entire piece. Like everything else has been far stronger, because it manages to keep the energy, but you don't really resolve it. You don't really give that epilogue feeling. Like the flaw here is that you didn't manage to take the super high climactic energy and resolve it. That's a good problem to have. So yeah, there you go. It's I would say yes, definitely that was the weakest part of the track. It's relative. The rest of it was still really, really good. And yeah, it's a good problem to have. Just, yeah. Yeah, no, like, how could you have ended it? I guess you could just have removed more and more layers from it. And like every repetition, you remove one more layer, and then it ends like that. I don't know. That's how I probably would have approached it. I don't think it really takes that much from it. Like what? This goes, like, if I were to give you like a hypothetical example, this goes from like a 9.5 to a 9.45. It's nothing. So yeah, there you go. That was Holy War by Boom Kitty, and do not think that I'm grading it that. I don't use number gradings. That was for the hypothetical. So there you go. That was Holy War by Boom Kitty, featured in Geometry Dash, is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, and I will fully produce, record, and voice act an audiobook for it. We also have a member who offered to do a Discord Nitro giveaway. We might do other types of giveaways. It's not very likely, but no, it might still happen. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alt accounts, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the videos, the streams with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share the videos all over. Use the hype function on YouTube. I don't know how it works, but we have a group on the Discord that does. Link down below. Go check with them. Go coordinate with them. Yes. Artists, Boom Kitty, or anybody else, I want to collaborate. If you want any of my musical skills, whether it is my guitars, my Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old ooh, 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 ooh kind of thing, or voice acting, or regular singing, or you want help figuring out something for your music, anything, just reach out, let me know, let's make it happen. Let's make it work. And if you're in the audience and you know any artists that could benefit from it, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone. Please do not spam anyone. Be cool about it. Don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment in this video. It has the instructions on what to do. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you are not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone. So if you live in Eskil... and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to the Discord or the Twitch, both linked down below, and they have the streaming schedule in your local time zone just showing there. So, yeah. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after shows when they happen. Link down below, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And, yeah. There you go. Holy War, Boom Kitty. Now it has both an LFA and a German shred. Look at that. Good stuff. Good stuff. But, yeah, let's move on.